Look at these beautiful beans. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Take a picture of that. What's up? I'm Jonathan Zaragoza, and I'm gonna give you some recipes to make your carne asada just a little bit better. At least in my family growing up, my aunt was always in charge of Frijoles Charros. It's one of my favorite sides to accompany a carne asada. And it kind of makes sense because you think of like cowboy beans and open fire cooking kind of pairs perfectly. So we're gonna take some of this longaniza and throw some into our beans as well. But more than anything, it's about the beans. So the frijoles de la olla that I make, they're soaked overnight with a little bit of salt and water to plump them up at room temp. It makes a couple things happen. Your beans cook more evenly and they cook quicker. And then they cook in a pot, olla de barro, with some onion and garlic. You could throw some epazote in there, some bay leaves, no problem. All right, so for the bacon, so I like getting my bacon cut up first. You can make it as big or as little as you want. It's gonna cook down either way, so. Okay, so bacon's gonna go into a pot. And I like doing that first so it renders and we get a lot of that fat. I throw my bacon in there with no oil. It has a lot of fat in there, so to extract some of that fat, I like doing a little bit of water. I know it seems like counterintuitive, but it's gonna allow for that bottom to deglaze from all that searing that just happened. And also you can hear it's a little calmer. So now while the bacon's working, we're gonna go and make our, basically it's a sofrito, guys, okay? White onion, tomato, we're going rustic, guys. Some serrano and some garlic. That looks good to me. Okay, we have some longaniza here, beautiful off the grill. We're just gonna get it chopped up. That looks great. You're gonna get it into your pot as well with your bacon. All this extra fat, guys, throw it in there. Cook like your grandma's. Use everything. All right. So once your longaniza and your bacon are cooked down and you get a little bit of that sticky fond around the edges, that's when I like to throw my my onion in there. So it's gonna be the base note of our frijoles here, always with a touch of salt. So once your onions are translucent, I like adding my jalapeno and my serrano because you want that flavor to kind of bloom in there. The tomatoes are gonna do a lot of that work, picking up all that, the brown bits at the bottom of the pot. We're looking great. I think it's bean time. So we have our beautiful frijoles de la olla. You know what? And if the onion falls in there, leave it in there. Garlic too. It's gonna make it even better. So I'm gonna do a little bit of chicken stock in these. But for the most part, you really want that beautiful starchy bean cooking liquid. It's gonna give us a lot of body. Guys, if you don't have the means to cook your own beans, it's not a big deal. I grew up on canned stuff, you know, a working mom and all that stuff. Like, I'm not gonna be the chef that poo-poos like stuff like that. And you see that fat around the top? That's the sign of a good frijole charro. It hasn't simmered yet, but all that fat is gonna disappear. It's gonna get emulsified into the beans, it's gonna be even better. And anytime you serve them, make sure you mix it in. No puede faltar un quesito fresco. All right, I gotta try these charros. They look crazy. Is this too close? It's hot though. It's hot. It's too hot. No, I'm kidding. We're fine. It is hot. Bro. The difference between canned and frijoles de la olla, in my opinion, is worth it. Make your beans. But if you don't have them, we'll judge silently behind the camera. I'm kidding. They're delicious. Make them this way. They're worth the effort.